Okay, so imagine this. You're online, just trying to prove that you're human, clicking all those little boxes, maybe trying to decipher some blurry text, the drill. But what if I told you that that simple act was actually giving hackers like the keys to your entire digital life?
Well, that's kind of the unsettling reality that we're going to be diving into today, specifically how OnlyFans users are being targeted with some pretty clever attacks.
Yeah.
So clever, they're actually turning everyday security measures against us.
Really, it's like they weaponize those prove you're human tests, the CAPTCHAs we all just thought were harmless.
Yeah, precisely. One method involves fake Cloudflare KPPCHAs. They're so convincing they can actually fool even the most tech-savvy users. And then there's always the classic bait and switch, malware-laden links disguised as exclusive content.
Oh, man. So we're talking stolen logins, personal data at risk. I mean, it's enough to make anyone think twice before clicking anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the potential consequences even go further than that. Some of this malware can actually set you up for a ransomware attack where they essentially lock you out of your own files until you pay up.
Yeah, that's a whole other level of scary. Before we get too deep into that stuff, though, I do want to mention that this deep dive is brought to you by Stonefly.
Oh,
They're a
nice.
one-stop provider for all your enterprise IT needs, from cluster servers and storage to hyper-converged backup disaster recovery systems and even cloud solutions.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out, especially as we discuss ways to protect yourself from these increasingly sophisticated attacks.
All right, so let's break down how these attacks actually work, starting with those fake Cloudflare CAPTCHAs. Walk us through it.
All right, so think about how a CAPTCA usually works. You're proving you're not a robot by, say, identifying images or typing in distorted text. And what these attackers have done is created websites that perfectly mimic a legitimate Cloudflare CAPTCA page.
So you think you're just going through like a routine security check?
Exactly. But here's the catch. When you complete that fake CAPTCHA, a malicious script is secretly copied to your clipboard, all without you knowing.
Wait, hold on. Just by clicking those boxes or typing in the text, you're letting malware onto your computer.
Essentially, yes. And because that script is now just sitting on your clipboard, you might unknowingly paste it somewhere else, like your computer's terminal or console. You think you're entering a command, but you're actually giving that malware the green light to run.
Oh my gosh. So you're just going about your day trying to access a website, and suddenly you've installed a remote access Trojan, a keylogger, a credential stealer, without even realizing it. That's terrifying.
It is. And to make matters worse, this kind of attack can hit anyone. Remember the CAPTCHAs cyber attack, that massive enterprise breach?
Yeah.
There's speculation they might have gotten in using this very CAPTCHA trick. Shows you just how widespread this is becoming.
Wow, I didn't realize how vulnerable even big companies could be to something like this. And i if I'm understanding this right, a solution like Stonefly Secure Virtualization Platform, or SVP, could actually help mitigate this risk for enterprises.
Absolutely. Adding those extra layers of protection is crucial, especially with attacks like this that exploit our trust in seemingly harmless security measures.
Okay, so fake co-op UTCH is definitely something to watch out for. But let's move on to the other tactic. You mentioned those malware-laden OnlyFans links.
Mhm.
What's the psychology behind these? Why do people fall for them?
Well, it's all about playing on our curiosity and desire for something exclusive. Think about it. You see a link that's promising you access to premium content, maybe a sneak peek at something you wouldn't normally see.
Hmm.
It's tempting to click, especially on a platform like OnlyFans.
Yeah, that's scary because I know I've definitely been tempted by those kinds of links before. So you think you're getting a great deal or accessing exclusive content, but you're actually downloading what? A zipped file full of malware?
That's the unfortunate truth. And the malware they're using, like DShot, it's designed to give attackers full control over your device. We're talking about monitoring your activity, stealing your data, even launching those dreaded ransomware attacks we mentioned earlier.
Hold on, let's dig into that a bit more. What can this DShrat malware actually do once it's on your computer?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about OnlyFans here. Does that mean it can steal sensitive photos, lock users out of their accounts?
It's all on the table. Unfortunately, DShrat is incredibly versatile, and its capabilities can go far beyond just, stealing passwords or credit card details. We're talking about, accessing your webcam, recording your keystrokes, even controlling your entire system remotely.
So think about all the personal information you access online, your banking details, your social media accounts, private photos and messages. It could all be compromised with just one click.
And the frightening thing is this isn't even a new tactic. Remember the Get Venom malware campaign? It preyed on users' desire for exclusive content. Much like these OnlyFans attacks spreading malware through disguised links and downloads, attackers know what works and they adapt those tactics to new platforms and trends.
It's chilling how these attacks exploit our human nature,
Hmm.
our curiosity, our desire for something special, and knowing that it could lead to ransomware, where they hold your entire digital life hostage, that's a whole other level of scary.
It is, and that's where having a robust backup and disaster recovery plan in place becomes so critical. Stonefly's DR365 solutions offer comprehensive protection, ensuring that your data is secure and can be restored quickly, even in the event of a ransomware attack.
Okay, that's a bit of a relief to know, but it feels like there's so much we need to be aware of these days just to stay safe online. Where do we even begin?
Yeah, it can feel overwhelming for sure, but don't worry, we're not just going to leave you hanging with a sense of dread. So let's shift gears and talk about some practical strategies you can use to defend yourself against these attacks.
Okay, give us the toolkit. Where do we even begin?
First, let's go back to basics. I bet a lot of people don't even realize how easy it is to fall for a fake website. So before you click any link, especially one promising, exclusive content, take a moment to verify that URL.
So we're talking about making sure we're actually on the official OnlyFans site, not some clever imitation, right?
Exactly. Pay close attention to that web address. Look for any misspellings or unusual characters, and don't be afraid to be a little suspicious if a link seems too good to be true.
Yeah.
Probably is. Remember, attackers are banking on you clicking without thinking.
Okay, that's a good reminder. Verify before you click. What else?
Remember those malicious scripts we talked about, the ones that get copied to your clipboard? You
Mm.
should never, ever copy and paste scripts from unofficial sources, especially if they're presented as some sort of security check. That's a huge red flag.
Got it. So if a website is asking me to copy and paste code, I know something fishy is going on.
Precisely, legitimate security checks would never ask you to do that.
All right, another thing I keep hearing about, but honestly don't fully understand multi-factor authentication. Is it really that important?
Multi-factor authentication, or MFA, is honestly one of the most powerful tools you have for protecting your accounts. And not just on OnlyFans, but everywhere. It adds an extra layer of security by requiring you to provide a second form of verification, like a code from your phone or a fingerprint scan in addition to your password.
So even if a hacker got my password, they still couldn't access my account without that second factor.
Exactly. Think of it like a double lock on your front door. And specifically for OnlyFans, imagine getting a text every time someone tries to log in from a new device that's MFA in action, giving you that extra layer of protection for your account and all of that sensitive content.
That makes a lot more sense now. And while we're on the topic of basic security measures, how important is keeping your antivirus and firewall up to date these days?
It's honestly more crucial than ever. Think of your antivirus and firewall as like your computer's immune system constantly working in the background to catch and block threats. Keeping them updated ensures that they have the latest defenses against new and emerging malware.
So even if I accidentally click a bad link, my security software at least has a chance of stopping the malware from infecting my system.
Absolutely. It's not a foolproof solution, but it significantly reduces your risk.
Okay, good to know. But let's be real, sometimes, even with the best precautions, things can still slip through the cracks.
And that's where a comprehensive backup and disaster recovery plan comes in. Remember, Stonefly's DR365 solutions, they provide that extra peace of mind, ensuring that your data is secure and can be restored quickly, even in the face of something as devastating as a ransomware attack.
Right, like an insurance policy for your digital life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You wouldn't drive without car insurance, and in today's world, you shouldn't navigate the online world without proper data protection.
That's a great analogy. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Verifying URLs, being cautious about scripts enabling MFA, and keeping our security software updated. What else should we be mindful of?
Well, think about it this way. Our actions online can have ripple effects. What if clicking on that malicious link doesn't just compromise your data, but also gives attackers access to your work network or even your family's devices?
Wow, I hadn't really thought about it like that. It's a chain reaction. One weak link can put everyone at risk.
Exactly. So it's not just about protecting ourselves, but also about educating and protecting the people we care about. We need to spread the word and share this knowledge because cybersecurity is a shared responsibility.
So true. And knowledge is power, especially when it comes to cybersecurity. The more we all understand about the threats we face, the better equipped we are to defend ourselves and those around us.
It really is. And, one of the best ways to understand those threats is to actually think like the attacker. What if you were the one trying to exploit OnlyFans users?
Ooh, that's interesting, kind of like putting ourselves in the enemy's shoes.
Exactly. It can help us see vulnerabilities that we might have otherwise missed. For example, if I were a cybercriminal targeting OnlyFans users, I'd probably start by creating a fake phishing website that looks almost identical to the real deal. you know? I'd want it to be as convincing as possible so people wouldn't think twice about entering their login credentials.
Right, you'd want to make it look totally legit, and to really up the ante, you could even use some psychological tricks to make people more likely to click on those malicious links.
Absolutely. Imagine an email subject line that says, like, urgent account suspension notice or exclusive content unlocked, click now. Playing on people's fears and desires is a classic social engineering tactic.
It's all about manipulation. Makes you realize that cybersecurity isn't just about having the right technical defenses in place. It's also about understanding human behavior and psychology.
You're spot on. We need to be aware of the tactics that attackers use to exploit our emotions and our trust. It's about thinking critically and asking the right questions before we click on anything.
So as we browse online, we should always be asking ourselves, like, why am I clicking on this link? What's the motivation behind this offer? Is there anything suspicious about this website?
Those are excellent questions to ask. Don't let curiosity or a sense of urgency cloud your judgment. And remember, it's okay to be skeptical if something feels off. Trust your gut and take a step back. It's better to be safe than sorry. A few moments of caution can save you a lot of trouble down the line.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into the world of OnlyFans cyber attacks. We've explored the threats, the tactics attackers are using, and most importantly, the strategies we can all use to protect ourselves.
You know, we've seen how attackers are using fake CAPTCHAs, malware-laden links, and psychological manipulation to steal data and compromise accounts. It's a sobering reminder that vigilance is key.
Absolutely. But it's not all doom and gloom. We've also highlighted some really practical steps we can take to strengthen our defenses. Verifying URLs, being cautious about scripts enabling MFA, keeping our security software updated, and thinking like an attacker to anticipate those potential vulnerabilities.
And let's not forget the importance of having a solid backup and disaster recovery plan in place. You know, Stonefly, our sponsor for this deep dive, offers some excellent solutions for that. Their commitment to data security is commendable.
Definitely worth checking them out. Their products and services can make a real difference in safeguarding your data and preventing those worst-case scenarios. But beyond the technical tools, what's the key takeaway for our listeners today?
Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay proactive. The cyber threat landscape is constantly evolving, but knowledge is power. The more we understand about the risks, the better equipped we are to navigate the online world safely.
So true. Don't be afraid to ask questions, seek out resources, and share what you've learned with others. Cybersecurity is a shared responsibility.
Well said. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.
That's a wrap for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us.